Who are the Sons of the Harpy? What do they want? And who leads them? To answer these questions, we must first examine their actions. In the show, the Harpy sons are presumed to be the pawns of the former masters, and they initially target Daenerys' Unsullied. This changes in Daznak's pit, where they target the former masters at the beginning of the slaughter. They even push former slaves out of the way so they can attack former masters. But throughout the scene, the dead bodies of former slaves and former masters alike can be seen littered throughout the pit. So the killing appears to be indiscriminate. This is important as it suggests that the Sons of the Harpy's goals was simply to destroy Meereen. They targeted the Unsullied to sow discontent between the former slaves and former masters, knowing that the freed slaves would blame the former masters for the attacks. This undermined Daenerys' rule, as the former slaves no longer believed that their mother, the Breaker of Chains, could keep them safe. Daenerys' execution of Massador for killing a Harpy son did not help matters, as it seemed the Queen would execute those former slaves who defended themselves when she and her Unsullied could not. To the Masters, Dany was always the enemy. To them, Daenerys was the bringer of death. She was the savage conqueror whose words are blood and fire. Daenerys somehow reconciled the classes by marrying Hizdahr and reopening the fighting pits, and when peace seemed possible in Meereen, the Sons of the Harpy responded by killing everyone. This is very different from the books. In addition to targeting the Unsullied, the Sons of the Harpy also attacked the freed slaves and the Shave Pates. Shave Pates were Meereenese citizens who fully embraced Daenerys' rule and expressed this by shaving their heads. Attacking everyone allied to Daenerys made it clear that the Sons of the Harpy were allied to the former masters, who wanted to avenge the loved ones Daenerys had nailed to posts. The books did not have an all-out Sons of the Harpy attack in Daznak's pit, but an attempted poisoning that took down Daenerys' bodyguard, Strong Belwas, before Drogon returned and began killing indiscriminately. The Sons of the Harpy were not likely behind that assassination attempt in the books, as all the demands of the Meereenese nobles were met just as they were in the show. The assassination in the books was an attempt to reignite conflict. The nobles had seen Daenerys' compassion in her refusal to kill the children hostages, and in her locking away her dragons to protect the people of Meereen. They knew how cruel she could be to her enemies and saw how much she had given them for peace. The Masters had no reason to continue a losing fight with the mother of their city. But in the show, the Sons of the Harpy are clearly not aligned with the Meereenese nobles, which means the Sons of the Harpy in the books and the Sons of the Harpy in the show are two separate organizations with different agendas. So who leads the Harpy Sons? There are 4 possibilities in the show and 2 in the books. The character who was a possibility in both was Hizdahr Zalorak. Hizdahr presents himself as a leader among the Meereenese nobles in the show and in the books. We can quickly rule out Hizdahr, however, since he was killed by the Sons of the Harpy in the show. He's not as easily dismissed in the books, where he is still alive. As a condition of marriage, Daenerys decrees that she will marry Hizdahr if he can stop the Sons of the Harpy from killing for 90 days. Hizdahr is able to do this, which suggests that he has power over the Harpy sons, or knows someone who does. The second possibility in the show is Daario Naharis. As stated earlier, the initial onslaught in Daznak's pit targeted the Great Masters of Meereen, which is something Daario suggests earlier in the season.
On the day of the great games, gather all the great masters and wise masters and worthy masters you can find, and slaughter them all.
I don't believe that Daario is the Harpy, though, as he seems genuinely surprised to see Hizdahr die. This wouldn't be the case if he commanded his own men to kill the Meereenese nobles, so he's almost certainly not the Harpy. The third possibility for the Harpy is this lady. We first see her in Season 5, Episode 1, as a prostitute leading an Unsullied to his death at the hands of the Harpy sons. This is the first time we see the Sons of the Harpy in the show, and we see that she is allied to them. We later see her leading Grey Worm and a group of Unsullied into a trap which ends in the death of Barristan Selmy. We don't know anything about her other than she works for the Sons of the Harpy. She's on this list mainly because the most likely candidate for the Harpy in the books is also a woman. The second possibility for the Harpy in the books is Galazar Galer, the Green Grace of Meereen. The Giscari of Slaver's Bay have their own religion separate from all the others we've seen in the series. The High Priestesses of Astapor, Yunkai, and Marine are known as the Green Graces and reside in each city's Temple of the Graces. The Green Grace of Marine, Galazar Galera, is the one who suggested Daenerys marries Hisdar, and she does so after praising Daenerys for not killing her child hostages, two of which were from the Green Grace's own family. The Green Grace is an advocate for peace, and likely believed, as all the nobles believed in the beginning, that there could be no peace with the savage conqueror. But over time, Daenerys proved that she would do whatever it takes to do right by her people. The Mother of Dragons put her dragons in chains to protect the people of Meereen. The Breaker of Chains allowed slavery to continue outside Meereen so that the Meereenese would not suffer hunger and war. A genuine peace was made, and the Sons of the Harpy did not attack until that peace was broken, and Meereen stood again on the precipice of war. This brings me to the last possibility for the Harpy in the show. This guy. In Season 3, he was Yunkai's messenger to Daenerys. When Daenerys demanded that Yunkai free all of its slaves, his response was this.
You are mad. We are not Astapor or Karth. We are Yunkai. And we have powerful friends who would take great pleasure in destroying you.
Book readers recognize that Yunkai indeed does have many friends. Slaver's Bay is the heart of the slave trade in A Song of Ice and Fire. Daenerys' conquest of it hurts the economic interest of every city involved in the slave trade. That happens to be every city on the eastern continent of Essos, with the exception of Pentos, where Daenerys' story starts, and Braavos, which was founded by the slaves of Daenerys' Valyrian ancestors. Currently in the books, many cities join Yunkai in a war against Daenerys, including Karth, the city Daenerys visited in Season 2, and Volantis, the city Tyrion, Varys, and Jorah visit in Season 5. Yunkai being behind the Sons of the Harpy in the show would be a nice simplification of Daenerys' story in the books, as it would merge Daenerys' two main enemies into one. It would also explain why the Sons of the Harpy would indiscriminately kill former slaves and former masters in Daznak's pit, as their loyalty isn't to anyone in Meereen. The purpose of the assassination attempt in the fighting pits in both the show and the books is to reignite conflicts Daenerys and Hisdar's marriage and the reopening of the fighting pits ended. In the books, Skahaz Mokandak, the Shade-Pate and the leader of Daenerys' Meereenese fighting force, the Brazen Beast, attempts to non-lethally poison Daenerys so that she will kill Hisdar, the other nobles that hate his family, and their Harpy minions. He and Hisdar's family have a blood feud. And the first thing Hisdar does when he is crowned is remove the Shade-Pate from Daenerys' court. After the events in the pit, the Shade-Pate convinces Barristan that Hisdar is the Harpy, has Barristan arrest him, and the two take power in Meereen, as Daenerys is away, and as Yunkai and their allies prepare for war. If the show is going to have some version of the Battle of Fire, having the Sons of the Harpy working for Yunkai would be a good way to bring the slave city back into the series. All the things Daenerys has been through, coming back to her, the Dothraki, Karth, Yunkai, would be perfect before the season where she finally leaves for Westeros. Anyway, no matter who the Harpy is, their days are numbered. Like, comment, subscribe, share, check out my other videos. The next two videos I plan on making will both look at disease. Only one of those will be a Game of Thrones video, and that video of course will look at grayscale.